What's up, everybody? Waiting on y'all to come in so I can really chop it up. Oh, wow. Monday. Monday. Anybody else get that song stuck in their head? That new Kalani? Well, not even that new. It's been out for a minute now, but that Kalani folded. It's not even like the song ain't really talking to me. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing I got going on in my life. Ain't nobody breaking up with me. I ain't got no lady come get your shit. But in the meantime, I'm trying to trick you into getting mad with me because that's what the song is about. That's what the song is about. But it's a very well written, very well delivered song. I like this song. It's catchy as hell. I get heard it a few times. It gets in your head. Definitely get stuck. Can't help it. But we back up in this thing. It's a Monday, you know what I mean? And I was gonna do a recap conversation about when I went fishing the other day. Hold up the window a little bit so y'all can hear me without the extra noise. And pardon in advance for any lapses because I know where I'm driving is bound to happen. But we're gonna get through it. Just stay tuned. I'll be here off and on, and it'll come back in. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I went fishing yesterday, and man, oh my gosh! If y'all ain't seen them videos yet, look at the latest shorts. All of those last, say, 3 or 4 where you could tell I was fishing, that's from yesterday, and it all happened in the same moments, more or less. But I had something get a hold of my bait and take me out in the way that typically a gar will do when they pick something up, which is what I was fishing for. I'll be always gar number one, catfish number two, everybody else included. I'd love to catch a bowfin because I've seen them out there. I know they're out there, but have yet to catch one on the river. But anyway, so this thing, whatever it was, picked up the bait, ran it out, man, like quarter of a mile, whatever it was, away from me, and I set the hook. And when I tell you that thing felt like a damn boulder underwater that was tugging, it was the ultimate tug of war. And of course, the current is in its favor because the current was going, it took it down current. So I'm fighting current, I'm fighting the weight of whatever this is, and I still don't know what the hell it was because it took me over to the side and snapped it off at these. There's an infamous, whenever I'm fishing this one spot, right? It's like the current is going this way, right? And against bank, there's some trees. If any fish or a turtle or anything can get you over there near them trees and in the right position, it's gonna break you off. All my anglers, everybody who fish know what I'm talking about. It's gonna break you off every damn time. You ain't gonna be in it. I don't care what you do. They gonna figure out a way to get you tangled over there, and that's all they need to break it off. And they're gonna take either your whole leader, or in my case, yesterday they took the hook and the bait. So I don't care that they took the hook and the bait. At least I didn't have to re-rig completely. All I gotta do is put another hook on. But it was the heartbreak of never seeing it break the surface. Really, I saw it come up a little bit, like it swelled at the top of the water, meaning it made it made a little like this, but it didn't go. You want that explosion. When you get that explosion, most of the time that's when you know it's a fish. If you don't get the explosion on the top of the water, You like, yo, what the hell is this? Like catfish will tug downward, stay down for a long time. They always take you down first, but you keep tugging at them and doing what I was doing. Eventually, they're gonna break the water, at least the back or something, thrash the tail, something, right? None of that happened. With a guard, they really gonna break the top of the water. They'll even jump if they want to, But the main thing they'll do is once they know they're being pulled back from away from where they wanted to go, they're gonna thrash to the side, and you're gonna see that mouth come out the water, and you're gonna know that it's a long fish, so you know it's a gar. That none of this stuff that I'm saying that I've had experience with happened. Instead, the whole action was underwater, and that led me to believe it was a massive turtle. The other reason I put my detective hat on and say that was a turtle is there's an area where I fish in that same spot where I usually don't go up that far because it's a good view. It's just nice to go up there and look at how the river looks from that angle, and when you can kind of see through the water like you could yesterday, at least the first 15 feet away from the shore, you get more of a view of everything. And the sun is glistening on the water. It's just beautiful. You're a little bit higher elevation. So I went up there, and I still had my bait, cut bait out, sitting in a holder, a sand pipe. Anybody who does beach fishing, surf fishing knows what I'm talking about. But it's basically PVC that you stick into the ground, and it holds your pole steady, so you ain't got to worry about nothing taking your stuff. But even that ain't guaranteed because I done lost a whole pole at the river with a monster that took all the line, and when it got to the end, the tension of it pulling on the reel with no line left, it yanked the pole, and it yanked it so hard that took the kind of PVC pipe I had at the time, and I never buy those kind anymore. It was one where, okay, you got the PVC pipe, and then it has these little studs that lock a spike of like a hard, heavy aluminum spike attached to that. So it's longer. Like the one I got now is like 27 inches. This thing here is probably 30 something inches because it's that plus, you know. And the spike goes down into the sand. That's cool when you're on the beach somewhere. And even then, after I have this experience, I don't know that I would even do that on the beach because hell, you get a shark, man, it's gonna do the same thing if you mess around and run out of line. And that's another lesson I learned from that. And like, mind you, this is going back my history of fishing. This is not something that happened yesterday. But I know from experience, you've got to have a solid, it can't be jointed, it can't be two pieces. It's best if that thing is one solid piece of whatever it is. And if you really want to get serious, I know somebody makes one. I'd love to get an all aluminum because I don't necessarily trust the PVC. Because what happened is, okay, where it did crack that time it broke right at where the PVC is bolted to the aluminum. So the aluminum spike was still in the ground, and it was cracked PVC around where that's drilled into what was the pipe because it broke the whole. And I literally was running and dived at my pole trying to grab it as it cracked and went on into the water. Yeah, imagine that horror scene. I got a video about that. It's an old video too. I think you could. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the title of that. If you wanted to see, I think it's River Monster, the one that got away. Something about the one that got away. I know I put in the title. Or River Monster breaks pole. I probably said that. I probably said breaks rod holder or something like something. I mean, it was dramatic, but it was real. It's what it literally happened. It wasn't just clickbait. And you see in the video, you can see me diving like it's one of them real jagged, very disturbing videos where you like, what the hell just happened? Because you see the camera going off. Because I'm like, no, no. And I'm like yelling and everything, like, shit, the fuck? Whole damn pole. And we talking about a heavy, if you fish, you know what I'm talking about. You got a river rod, it was one of them. You know what I mean? Big reel, big pole, gone. Catfish style pole, gone. Gone. So that broke my heart. That broke my heart in a million pieces right there, man. And to this day, I wonder where the hell my rod is somewhere underwater, you know, falling apart or getting crunchy and crusty. But anyway, so that's what happened years ago. And after that, I just knew. I said, man, when you go to the river is only one step down from the ocean. I always tell people in terms of the level of heavyweight fighting ability of the fish. You literally can look at it like, well, no, I was about to say something. I said, no, that's not true because in some streams and stuff, trout and salmon, they can get huge, certain species, and they powerful as hell too. So it's more like, I'll just say, in the part of Georgia I'm in, the most common waters are, you got your creeks, you got, I mean, you could call it a stream, but it ain't really, there aren't any indigenous that weren't implanted trout. Like even people, living north of Atlanta think that, some people not knowing think that the brown trout and the rainbow trout that are natural. They're not natural to Georgia. They were put there, and that's a whole other conversation about elitism and using species to create elite fishing cultures, which is a whole other thing I have a big problem with people doing that. It's so disrespectful to nature and to the truth of what fishing is really all about. But anyway, um, they basically, yeah, they created a fishery in that area. But if you go into, like I said, creeks and all that, you're gonna have certain weight of fish. Probably about the heaviest thing you're gonna run into are the catfish and the biggest bass, right? And that remains true into most of your lakes. But the thing is, with your lakes, they're mostly fed by rivers. So you can still get any of the top contenders even in the river. And when I say top contenders, I'm talking about the gar, long-nosed gar, blue catfish, flatheads. Like those three right there, as far as freshwater, inland freshwater. Hear what the words I'm saying? 'Cause I know somebody be in the comments that thinks they're a brainiac and want to debate you all the time on anything you say online. You know, so everybody wants to prove how ready they are for an episode of Jeopardy. Um, if you have ever fished in the Atlanta metro area, in the Piedmont of the state of Georgia, okay, the most common species, okay, I'm speaking of those only. I would say that the heavyweight fighters in the water, long nose gar, blue catfish, really them two at the top. They almost head to head. Just depends on the day and the weight. Okay, and I'll take this to anybody. I don't give a damn who. People just so obsessed with largemouth bass, and I love bass. Bass are great, but I ain't never fought a bass that made me feel what I feel when I fight a damn long nose gar. I'm sorry. Ain't nothing on a gar is 10 times as powerful as a bass. I'm sorry. There's no comparing that. It's gonna make you feel, if you ain't never felt like you was fishing saltwater, or if you ain't never went saltwater fishing, there's how you get that feeling. And like I say, I put them about equal, the long nose gar with the blue catfish or even the flathead. Like those most powerful catfish, right on the same level in terms of power. I ain't talking about tricks that they do. Bass are powerful and they do tricks and they trying to get out the lines. They're gonna do a lot of jumping and shaking and hitting. And that's fun. That's fun all day. Gar are fun, but also dangerous, and I love it. I love it. And blue catfish, when they get big, as what I've caught before, 24 pounds, they have teeth. They don't know, those bristles turn into teeth. Okay, they literally become little pigs, sharp as hell. All right, it's a different level. It's a different level. It's not what some people think because they see some video and they see people catching these, maybe 12-pound at max catfish and thinking that's as big as they get. No, no, no. You're talking about a fish that in the Chattahoochee, the state record is like 100 and something pounds. I forget how many. I forget what exactly was, but I know it's over 100. And it looked insane if you see this thing, you know. And where I'm fishing when I'm on the river, I've even run into some blue cat that, like, one is the one of all that I always say, man, if I could have landed that fish when I first started fishing the river, seriously fishing the river. Because when I was a kid, I went out a few times with my dad, my grandpa on the Flint River down home. But I don't recall that experience exact. It gets to be a blur because I was a kid. But in my adult life fishing, when I started fishing the river, I used to fish some real crazy spots because I was on some daredevil ish until I realized this don't make no sense. Like I had watched a little too much of folks on YouTube. That yeah, it's fun to watch, it's cool content, but let's be real, y'all. If you are any type of hill or incline, it's 10 times as dangerous to land that fish. Like I've watched guys like shout out to Cavi, dude out there in Australia. He's crazy as hell, but his stuff is good. He's got great content. I love it. I love watching this stuff. He's fun to watch. But he'll do like the hardcore rock, like you on the edge of some rock with barnacles and stuff that literally is like razor blades when you get pushed against it. And I saw a video one time with him and a buddy. They were fishing on them rocks, and they got a big, I think it was a trevally. He's always talking about the great, the trevally. Those are some powerful fish. And I think that's what it was, if I remember. And that fish pulled him into the water, basically. Like, not literally, but he couldn't get his footing just right on them slippery rocks. He ended up falling in, and his buddy went in after him. They both know how to swim, but it was like the waves were crashing against the rocks, so it's not like calm water either. It wasn't like easygoing ocean. It was like serious, deadly, take you out, never seen again type water. And he got in the water, and I never forget, he was like, he had to even hand the pole over to his buddy at one point to let his friend fight the fish with him because he got scraped against them damn rock. The ocean threw him up against them rocks, and it's got all them barnacles and muscles and everything, them sharp edges on their shells, and he got cut duff on. I mean, it looked like he had been through a cheese grater on his arm or leg and whatever. Well, I can't remember exactly. I think he got hit on both, and because the salt water's constantly rushing over your skin, you can see it at first. He's yelling. He's like, "Oh man, it got me pretty bad, that wall." And he pulls back. And you can see, yeah, he's all cut up like, I mean, blood. And then the water come over and wash it over. And I thought to myself, this is about as real as it gets for showing what can happen. Because most people, stuff be happening. They just don't show the blood in the camera. They don't show the folks in agony with these cuts, or people want to front because they know they on camera and they want to seem tough. You know, like I was watching a video the other day. Uh, this girl is like, I guess she's like either high school or first years of college, and she got her own boat. She goes out, and I like the kind of stuff she fished for because she always after like guard. Like I saw one where she was at the boat fin. And I was like, all right, I like your spirit. I like what you're going for. That's what I like too. All them crazy prehistoric fish. But she got a guard, long nose guard, and the fish was flopping and stuff. And she had edited the part probably where it happened, but it got on the deck of her boat, and she's trying to restrain it, so she can get the hook out. And at some point, she said, because it was funny how she kept describing. She said, these fish, they have teeth outside their mouth. I was like, huh? Like, okay, I don't know why you said it like that. I mean, because they're still within. I guess she's saying because you can see them. It's like, it's a long beak and you can see all of the teeth. But she said, yeah, he was thrashing around. He got me a little bit. She was like, war wounds, war wounds. All right, so yeah, she was like battle scars, battle scars. I was like, and she showed her, her leg had gotten scraped up and she was bleeding. And I just thought, okay, young and don't know better. You better get some peroxide on that ASAP, because it ain't the scrapes, it's the bacteria and what can lead to infection. Always have some peroxide on you. And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I slip and forget to have my stuff on me, and I be feeling so silly when I'm out there like that because you need, I do have like a basic first aid kit at all times, but I want to always have peroxide, like not just a couple of wipes, because you want to pour something on that thing, bubble it up, kill whatever's on you quick, handle that thing. That's what you want. Okay, as we continue with what I got to say. So basically, y'all, you gotta take it for what it is. Any activity with any amount of natural danger involved, you just gotta respect the fish, respect what you're doing, respect the activity, respect all of the parts of what will happen, and the fact that it's not just fish. Fishing is the name of the process of the activity, but that does not mean you're gonna always catch fish. You don't always catch fish when you go fishing. You catch whatever you might get with fishing, from the weather to the land itself to the conditions to, man, I mean, the countless amounts of stuff that you will lose in the water. You're gonna lose a lot of rods. Well, hopefully not a lot of rods. You could lose a rod. You could lose a reel. You definitely gonna lose some tackle. You're gonna constantly lose hooks, constantly lose lures. You can't go getting attached to it to where I spent so much money on this. Oh, yeah, Hey, I know the feeling. Trust me, ain't nothing like it. But I also know, thank goodness, I always had to, shout out my dad, man, because he's such a serious collector and fisherman for all his life. I haven't, even to this day, I've never had to invest what some people would call like the light. First, I never had the money to do that, but then even if I get it, I haven't. I would still not have to buy a lot of lures and stuff. Like, you know, he's just that guy who always getting something else more than he even uses. So I always have access to more stuff. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. I'd say the number one thing that you do have to keep rebuying is certain types of hooks. Whatever gets popular, whatever you use the most, swivels, and you know bobbers, stuff like that. That's the stuff you're gonna replace the most if you're doing it the way I do it, and especially at the river. Like, I remember I saw this guy make a joke one time. It was so funny to me. He was talking about river fishing and said, "All right, it's time again to get out there on the river. New year." And he had like all this stuff in the back of his pickup truck, and it was like, tons of hooks and all kind of other equipment, like the weights and everything, and bobbers are used, bunch of stuff to throw away in the river. Like, I said, "Oh Lord, boy, he too real." Like, translation, there will be so many of these setups you're gonna lose because you're going to get broken off. The fish are gonna run you up under logs and all that. Like, when the water gets low in some of these places, you see the trees that are decorated with hooks and lines, and it's like it's an archaeological evidence of everybody trying, and everybody caught the same fate, more or less. You see the same thing with some trees, with people trying to cast past it and get stuck in the tree and all that old stuff. But yesterday was just another one of them situations that somebody ran me up under a tree and broke it off so clean. I mean, but I am so convinced it was a turtle. And the reason why, my number one evidence is when I went up on this incline area where I could kind of oversee everything around where I was fishing, and I was casting while I was waiting on the bite with my one that was planted in the ground with the spike. I was looking and looking, and it's funny how turtles come up. They are inquisitive creatures. I don't care what the species. They will come up, take a look at you. Sometimes they'll have their head up out the water for a while, checking you out, and they don't care if you see them. And then they dip when they want to dip. They swim back down. Do they paddle and go right back into the murk. It's like they were never there, right? But most of the time, they don't want to be seen or noticed. So, like, this one was huge. And whichever species I think I saw, there's only two main things I would say it was. And I'm going to explain. But when I had my head like this and I turned back this way, and I saw a turtle that had to have a shell that was at least 24 inches across. And it was brown. Now, in the river, that ain't nothing because almost everything done turned brown because the river's brown, right? Everything got some brown in its color because of the river most of the time, right? But, and that's not true of everything. I'm just saying a lot of things, it will change the colors of the environment of the water will change the tone of the creatures a lot of times. So anyway, it was whatever it is, it had a brown back to the shell. It didn't have ridges, high ridges like an alligator snapping turtle. So that's how I know it wasn't that. Even though that could be out there. That's all over the state too. But the irony of alligator snappers, I mean, I know in some places I say this, and so I'm sure, man, I see them all the time. But I've, other than in captivity, I've never seen one in the wild. The common snapping turtle, the serpentine they call it, because it has a long snake-like tail. You know, its tail is longer than the alligator snapping turtle. It's got a longer tail. Uh, they can get equally as big, even though they say the alligator snapping turtle is the biggest of the two. I think that just depends on where, because yeah, I've seen Godzilla up in this month. I've seen Gamera. If you know your kaiju, I've seen Gamera straight up. Like, I'll never forget this place that is, it's a nature reserve, so can't nobody fish there, can't nobody do nothing other than observe. Like, you go there, you look, and this guy, his little girls, they want to see that fish. They want to see that big turtle. They want to see all the fish come up in the big turtle. He done brought out there Funyuns and Cheetos and all this human junk, and they clearly say, do not feed the wildlife. But, he one of these, I'll do whatever I want to do because I just want to see a smile on that little girl's face. Yeah, that's all cute and fine, but if the damn rangers, the problem is when the place wasn't really open, it's like you can go out there and you can walk, but it's after supervised hours. But what's funny about some people thinking that their activity is not being noticed. The same place I'm talking about later on, I talked to a lady who worked there, and she said, "Oh, yeah, we got cameras out here. We see people doing all kind of stuff." And I was like, "Oh wow." She just did this like, "Oh yeah, all kind of stuff." Yeah, like like a lot of grown activity be here. After hours when ain't nobody around to see what. Yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff on our cameras. I was like, I hear you. But anyway, they were throwing whole bags of all this junk food out there. And when I say it was a swarm frenzy of, you know, brim, of course, a zillion brim, some bass, everybody's eating all this mess because they just throwing out this junk food, right? But then you hear the little girl start saying, "Come on, Big Bopper, come on up here, come on." And sure as, man, that thing had a head as wide as a dinner plate. Serpentine, gigantic, ancient, 100-year-old that I've ever witnessed in the wild in my life. It's still a wild reserve. It's a reserve, but it's wild. It's not a zoo, you know what I mean? People turn these animals into zoo-like creatures with this kind of activity, but this ain't common. Like I said, this was a Asian city. I ain't gonna front. I wasn't happy they were throwing them Funyuns. I don't want anybody eating that trash, but all that canola oil and mess. But I did enjoy seeing what I saw. That was amazing. I've never seen a turtle that big as far as, well, yeah, turtle, because tortoise are land and turtles are water. So, yeah, biggest turtle I've ever seen in my life. Straight up. Freshwater. I'll say freshwater because you get into the ocean, that's a whole nother story. But, yeah, that right there, whew, in the wild, freshwater, biggest I've ever seen. So, knowing they can get that big, what I saw the other day was not quite that, but I said quite. It wasn't far, y'all. 24 inch. Like what I saw, that thing had to be. That was a 36 inch across diameter back shell, and the head, like I say, was like this freaking big. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. The head of that turtle was like this. So I know it's possible, and because of that, when I saw that shell go back down real quick, I thought, okay, that's either of two things. That's either the snapper, which, is my favorite turtle of all time. I love snapping turtles, plural, all species. I like them. I think they're the coolest thing. And anything related to their way, that snaps, has a beak, like, because there's some other turtles that are not named snappers, but as far as I'm concerned, they snap because they got the same kind of, they do the same thing. They will snap and they got the hard ass beak of a jaw and everything, right? Um, Hold on. What are we doing up in here? Where is my turn? I think I'm just going. I think I'm good. Anyway, uh, but I saw this thing and I said, that's either a snapper or that was a spiny soft shell. Spiny soft shells, I saw a video about a year ago, and this guy was talking about him. He's showing one in a zoo or something, and it was a common size. It was, size of a dinner plate, nice size, but not too big. He said, "Yeah, they don't get much bigger than that." I was like, "The hell they don't." I got the video proof, and please, they can. Hey, 17-inch diameter back. I promise you, 14 to 17. I know I got at least one 14, and another one was about 17. May have been 20. I don't know. I ain't gonna get too exaggerated. I'll say 17 for sure. 17 inches for sure. And the first one was 14, easy, easy. You can see my videos. They're right here. Just, spiny tail. One of them I got a real funny thumbnail on where I made it look like a Gamera type monster coming up out the water, exploding. Did some AI art with it, real cool. I got my vision and I broke it down how I wanted it. And I got it more or less what I wanted to see. And I did an image of myself looking at it like, typical giant kaiju movie, Daikaiju, looking up at the monster. Oh my gosh, kind of look. So if you see that thumbnail, check that out, and you'll get a laugh out of that. It was a hell of a moment. But this turtle that I saw the other day, like I said, I still don't know what species that was, but I'm pretty dang sure that's what it was that took my bait out. The other reason is I had two hits technically yesterday. The second was the worst, where I lost my line. I mean, it broke me off at a tree or whatever, lost the hook. I just want to see it, man. I don't want no harm. I know it's gonna be a hell of a fight to get that hook out your mouth. If it's a snapper, I ain't worried about. We're gonna cut the line, but at least I got the turtle on camera, right? That ought to be worth at least a few 100,000 views, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Because I always say, it didn't happen yesterday, but I know where I'm at. It's bound to happen. Not really trying to talk it up. I still would rather catch a monster gar, But hey, like I said, everything I'm talking about, it comes with the territory, man. You're gonna deal with them. Yeah, you're gonna deal with them. You're gonna deal with them and everybody else out there. I mean, quiet as kept. I've seen videos of people catching snakes. Now that's something I have no interest in catching on a hook. That is not no. Not on anything, but I'm just especially on a hook, man. Because golly, woo, you talking about a guarantee of about to get bit more than likely. Pissed it off or something pinching his mouth, or worse, you foul hooked it on the side or something, and his head is free. Oh my gosh. I've seen videos like that. I've seen videos of people pull something. Oh my God! It can get wild. I mean, or even, the fish had one in it, like, 'cause it ate one. That happens. People don't know this stuff. People just assume. It's crazy how people think that don't know nothing about nature. They don't look nothing up, so they assume, oh, it would never eat that, because you wouldn't eat that. What they got to do with a fish? Bass. People, oh, bass eat snakes. A bass will eat a moccasin. They don't give a damn. If they can get it, it's real simple. Anything that head can get to, especially if they can get it head first and pinch it into the part. If you look down their throat, they have it's like a tight little opening that's where, that is their esophagus. So, I mean, or their throat. And if they can get anything through there, the rest of it is suffocating it and just time. Yeah, it's still alive, but it's gonna ease on through and it's gonna get broken down with the juices, natural juices and stuff, and the acids or whatever in the belly. But if it's got a snake, man, that might live a while before it dies. And if it ate that fresh that day, and then you catch it, you take it home, you cut it open, you're gonna have a good meal. Woo! Can you imagine? That is one of my biggest nightmares. That thank goodness I've never lived. But that is one of my biggest nightmares, is to get a decent sized fish that ate a snake and cut it open and the snake is still alive in the belly. God almighty. Boy, you talking about some, boy, oh my gosh, you talking about a nightmare. Can you imagine? Oh, have mercy. There's folk in straight jackets right now. You know what I'm saying? Because they saw that. They had to go through that. They went. through it. They dealt with it. There's people literally been checked into the insane asylum, y'all. Oh my gosh. Man, this area is so beautiful. Every time I come over here. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all what I mean. Real quick, because I know it's gonna mess up my signal. Knock my phone off because it's gonna get overheated with this damn hot ass sun on the back. But isn't that amazing? That's the kind of land I want. I mean, I have access to some land, but I'm talking about in the local sense. Down home is down home. That's further off. That's a ways away. That's a whole nother world. I'm talking about in the Metro ATL area. I want me some land like that, y'all. That's what ONYXCON trying to do. We trying to do it like that. Gonna do it like that. Ain't no trying. Let's stop saying trying. Let's say what we mean. Oh yeah. That house over there, it even got the pond in the back. The little lake. That's living. Got your own fish. What? Man, if I had my own, I keep saying if, when I have my own pond, man, let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna have all the indigenous fish in there. Like I mean, they're native to Georgia anyway. People want to act like they just aliens from outer space, but gar are natural. So I want me some garnet. If I went to the river and caught me a couple of young ones, oh yeah, oh yeah, I put them in there. Sure would. Let the population swell more and more, more and more and more. Some of y'all say, "Oh, they're gonna eat up all the bass." Well, guess what, fool? You're not a bass, and bass are just fine. Ain't nothing wrong with the bass population. The only thing that messed up the bass population anywhere where there's a problem is people. It's the overfishing when people go out there and everybody's focusing on the same species. That's what is that. That and also, like for instance, West Point. I always love to use this example because it's my whole life. It's the number one lake me and my dad go to because that's his favorite lake. And we fished every other lake in the state just about. Like literally, there's only we looked up. I looked up to all the lakes in the state one time. I read them out to my dad, and he kept saying, "Oh, went there, went there." I was like, "Damn, is there anywhere we ain't been or you ain't been?" And I'm saying, me in my lifetime, before I was born, he went, but then he sure enough went on family trips. We used to take them trips, and I just forget them all. You're a kid. It's just another place to play, another place to get out here and fish for a minute, and then get bored. You know how you are when you're a kid.